Hi, everyone. Doing a little bit of an impromptu live. But I got on my stories earlier to say that I was going to share my experience with the Flowpresso. So here I am. So just a little bit of backstory. We bought the Flowpresso. It's this new machine at Prova Health. It's this like lymphatic machine. And you put yourself in this like bodysuit and stuff. And we got it for deep detoxification, for the PEMF, for the infrared. And there's one other thing. Oh, and like the deep detoxification too. But like its superpower is really getting your body out of sympathetic dominance. I'm back into like a parasympathetic state. So sympathetic dominance is when you're in fight or flight. And I'm going to throw a number out there and say probably about 90% of Americans are in sympathetic dominance all the time, which is not good for our bodies because when we're in sympathetic dominance, we're in fight or flight. The other autonomic nervous system state is called parasympathetic state, which is rest and digest. So when you're in fight or flight, you're actually not resting and digesting. So when you're not resting and digesting, you're actually not healing and repairing. And so the importance of getting your body back out of sympathetic dominance, back into parasympathetic response is so that we can heal and repair and allow our bodies to go into these deep states and trances of like deep healing and repairing. That's literally a brain communication issue. Your brain will literally stop your body from healing itself because it's using those resources that it could be healing and repairing to actually run away and produce cortisol to get you running from a bear. But you're not running from a bear, you're stressing at work in front of a computer. So do you see how we have these two conflicting states and the majority of us are in a fight or flight state, so we're not healing. Okay, back to the Flowpresso, because I was going to share my story about my experience with it. So I have clearly been in a fight or flight state for 5 years when my husband got his cancer diagnosis. And obviously this past year has been hell in a handbasket. And so I've been in this sympathetic dominant state where I've been exhausted and I've been, but I've been trying to run, after Tristan. Today is actually exactly 2 months since Tristan passed away. And since he passed, I've just been going. It only took 3 weeks off to really mourn. But what people don't tell you is mourning happens in cycles. So it's like up and down. You can't be like, okay, 3 weeks to mourn and then we just move on. It just doesn't work that way. But what I didn't realize that I was doing was I was actually pushing down all of my emotions and I was getting lost in work. And so I was doing all the things and I was burning the candle at both ends and I was in this sympathetic dominant state. And my staff were practicing doing the Flowpresso on people before we actually open it up to the public. And so I was like, let me do it. So I get into this suit, this Flowpresso suit, and I'm not one to take naps, by the way. Like, I cannot remember the last time I took a nap, you guys. It doesn't happen. My body does not slow down. It's constantly going, constantly, to the point where I actually have insomnia because it's just always going because I'm in sympathetic dominance, right? So I get into this Flowpresso suit and I am out in 10 minutes. I am in the deepest resting state I've ever been in. And then they, like, my staff, literally, they had to like check on me to make sure I wasn't dead because they're like, you were so asleep. We thought you had died. So they literally left me on the table there for an hour to take this like hour nap, even though the session was done. But that wasn't the important part. That was just the beginning. That was literally switching off the sympathetic dominant state and putting me in parasympathetic mode, putting me in rest, digest, and heal mode. So after I woke up from the nap was when all the work started happening. So it was really interesting. I was really tired and I was extremely emotional, like emotional as in like crying and sad and mourning and it was really interesting because as I got home after the Flowpresso, I was a wreck. and I called up my friend. I'm like, I didn't realize I had so much sadness in my body. And isn't this amazing? When we're in a fight or flight mode, we literally bypass the emotions and we just like kind of stuff them in our body. But when we get into this parasympathetic state, we actually slow down enough to move the energy, the energetic motion, the E motion out of our body. So the Flowpresso literally slowed me down to let me feel my feels. And I started this like massive mourning process that day and that night. And it was super overwhelming. And I was like, you know what? This can't be Flowpresso. Like, there's no way. So I did a big no-no, and I told them to put me in the machine the next day. I was like, let's try this out a second time. Like, there's no ways this machine did that to me. There's no ways it's that powerful. There's just no way. So I forced them to put me in the machine again. You're supposed to wait 3 days. I'm like, nope, let's just like rev it up. Let's go. Put me in again. I passed out again, like not like passed out, fainted, but like deepest nap ever. And they let me sleep for an hour. And remember, I just don't nap. And again, that night, there was just all of this emotion like coming through me and all of this sadness. And it literally put me in this huge process of like, wow, I've been going. I haven't stopped. I haven't slowed down probably in 5 years. And this lymph suit literally like paralyzed me. And to be like, wow, I need to slow down. And so ever since I've been in the Flowpresso, I'm sure no one's noticed, but I haven't been on Instagram quite as much. I actually haven't been able to record podcasts, just because I am in this rest and digest state, and my body doesn't want to come out of it. My body's like, no, we have a lot of healing to do. And when I was in fight or flight, I was just bypassing all those messages. I was like pushing it down. And so I've been in this like process for like 2 weeks ever since the Flowpresso. And I love it. Like, I freaking love that machine, and I want everyone to try it, which is why we have that massive discount, because you will be shocked at what comes up when you stop being in fight or flight. Fight or flight literally can kill you. It kills when we are drowning in cortisol, because that's the majority of Americans, right? When we are constantly running from a bear, when we're in fight or flight mode, when we're in sympathetic dominance, we don't digest well, we don't sleep well, we don't heal and repair, we don't concentrate well, we don't function. We're running off of anxious fumes all the time, and this literally puts extra miles on our body. Our body is supposed to go in waves where we're working and then we're resting, and we're working and we're resting. But all of us are just like this. We're on this trajectory. And then we wonder, why do we have anxiety? Why do we have depression? Why do we have autoimmune conditions? Why do we have this? Like, why is my body failing me? Why? Well, it's because we actually never allow ourselves to get into this deep parasympathetic state to allow our bodies to heal and repair. So I wanted to talk about that part of the Flowpresso. Obviously, it's a detox piece. It's a lymphatic drainage machine. It also has PEMS, pulse electromagnetic something frequency, and it has infrared. So it's an immune booster. It detoxifies you. It helps like balance out like meridians and all that jazz. But it's a really powerful tool. So if you are local, try it out. I'm a huge fan. I've never had anything pull me out of sympathetic dominance so fast, so quickly, and then put me in this parasympathetic state where I'm actually like even more connected and in my body than I've ever been. And I thought I was so connected with my body, but then I was also like, well, why am I not sleeping? And why am I anxious? And well, it's like, oh, okay, duh, this is why, because I actually was pushing a lot of stuff down and I was still in sympathetic dominance. And so being pulled out of that and into a rest, digest, and healing state has changed everything for me. Okay, so I don't know. So I will have my office manager contact Flowpresso to see where there are other clinics that have this machine. Any of those in Texas, there's gotta be places in Texas, like Houston, there's gotta be, right? Let's see, what are some other questions? Any other questions, just post them here. I feel a little like self-centered talking about myself and my story with the Flowpresso. Oh, you guys, and they're typically like $80 per session, but You can buy a 5-pack for $350, and right now, if you buy the 5-pack for $350, you get an extra session free. So it's really like 6 sessions for $350. It's like a killer deal. Is there an alternative if you're not comfortable with ketamine therapy? EMDR is a really great therapy for trauma and anxiety and all of this. But yeah, you guys, I want to share really fast. Like I've been back in the clinic for the past month and almost a half. And the number one thing I see with my clients is that they are in a fight or flight response all the time, that there is stress and there's trauma. And I tell them, like, I can't put you on protocols that are healing protocols if your body is literally designed to be running from a bear right now, that you're in fight or flight all the time. It's not going to happen. I can't override your brain's messaging to the rest of your body. So we need to so my goal, especially in their first sessions, is to get them to understand, like, you need to be out of sympathetic dominance and into a parasympathetic state. And that's when the magic happens. That's when we're actually going with the flow instead of like trying to swim upstream. So I don't sleep and I have panic attacks every day. My resting pulse is not calming down anymore at all, day and night. I'm over 90, so unhealthy for the heart. Yeah, and I hope you're talking with a doctor about that. Check yourself for Graves' disease if that is what's happening. How do you get out of a sympathetic state? Meditation. So here's the thing. Okay, we're gonna go on a little bit of a tangent on emotions. And okay, so think of the word emotion. It's E-motion. It's energetic motion. All right. So anxiety in our body is literally just energy. It's an energetic motion. And that can transmute to disease and dysfunction. So bear with me here. Okay. So E motion, energetic motion. When you look at the Einstein, what is it? What is that? That E equals MC squared. That I don't know. Words are not my thing right now. But E equals MC squared is literally energy equals matter times the speed of light. All right. So energy is matter and matter is energy. And so when we have an emotion, hi baby, how's it going? I'm going to be interrupted for just a few seconds. Hi, I'm just doing a live. Will you give me 2 seconds?
Tomorrow Gina's coming.
We got to talk about that. So where was I? So E equals MC squared. So emotion is energetic motion. Energy with E equals MC squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light. And that goes back and forth. So your emotion is literally matter, it moving in your body. And so you have to move it out of you. So if you are experiencing anxiety, if you are experiencing like, the nervousness in your body, that's literally an emotion that needs to move out. And so the best ways to move that out and it's different for everyone. Deep breathing. Breathing is a great way to move energy out of your body, but like deep breathing, right? There's literally classes and workshops around breathing that can help with that. Meditation didn't work for me in the beginning because it had so much energy pent up in my body that trying to sit down and meditate was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to like explode. So for me, it's hiking. I have to like actually go out into the mountains. I love the saying, mother the mother. And so as a mother, I go out into Mother Nature to be mothered and I connect. And so I move the energy out of me. Music helps to move energy through us. Have you ever put on a song and you felt an emotion be provoked? So maybe you're listening to music while you're hiking in the mountains. As Tristan, in the last couple months of Tristan's life, things were just so heavy and so hard and I had so many emotions. I can't imagine what I did if I just let them stay in my body. So what I had to do almost every day, I did every other day when I could, was I would blast music and I would hike up in the mountains and I would like ask my body, like, how do you want to move today? And sometimes my body needed to sprint. Sometimes it just wanted to walk. Sometimes I would sprint or jog or run. And a lot of the times I would be crying. Like as I was running and like as I was going from like jogging to sprinting, I would just be like bawling my eyes out because it was literally just energy that had to come out of me. So I hope Fit Anytime Jasmine, I hope that answers your question. But again, if we leave these emotions to stay in our body, they will transmute into dysfunction and dis-ease and then disease, because energy is literally matter at the speed of light. And so there is this other, I should do a podcast on this. So back in the 20s, I think it was the 20s, physicists were trying to figure out, an atom is protons and neutrons in the middle and then electrons on the outside, right? And they're trying to figure out, are electrons actually particles or waves? And physicists, through experimentation, realized that the electrons are actually particles and waves. They literally change their substance. And that's why it's so dangerous when we just push them down, because we think that doesn't matter. And as children, we were told to be quiet, go to your room, stop fussing, stop crying, stop feeling, right? That's why children are so explosive, because they have these big emotions that have to move through them. And so my job as a mom is to help them navigate that emotion so that they're not bottling it up and it doesn't transmute to something else, something more destructive down the line. And so as adults, what do? When an emotion comes up, we numb out with technology and TV and work and who knows what, right? When really we actually have to sit with it and feel it and then move it through us. If we don't move it through us, and many of us have not been moving our emotions through us for potentially decades, it's no wonder we're anxious. It's no wonder we're depressed. It's no wonder our bodies are falling apart on us, because they've literally been holding all of this emotional matter in us. And it's like if you take a soda can and you shake it, it builds up all this pressure, right? Well, now you need to decide how do I take that lid off and to release all that pressure? And it's not going to be fun in the beginning. It's not going to be fun sitting in it, but it gets easier and easier and easier. Okay, I hope that was interesting. How do you battle iron deficiency anemia with ulcerative colitis? My blood pressure is always so low and I'm always fatigued. I would need more information, but my favorite thing is always organ complex, eating red meat. Those are my two favorite things. There's a product called Famax by Maddie Herb that's also really fantastic, but there's more things that go to that. Any other questions before I jump off? But that was my story with Flowpresso and moving your body from sympathetic dominance into a parasympathetic state to allow yourself and your body to heal, to get into a deep healing and reparative state. And sometimes that means moving emotions through you. That sometimes means moving toxins through you. That sometimes means that you have a fever from the treatment. It's really interesting how your body transmutes the treatment. For everyone, it's different. Obviously, for me, what came to the surface when I went into the Flowpresso was all the emotional stuff that I was pushing down by keeping myself busy. And so yeah, that's it. Thanks, you guys. Any other questions for that treatment machine somewhere? Yes. So if you go into my stories, I have some swipe ups, so you can swipe up and read about it. You can get the discount coupon right now, the buy 5 and get one free. Well, it's a discounted 5-pack, but then you get a free extra one just because it's a grand opening thing. And that's that. What are your top foods and supplements for an upset stomach with slow digestion? Oh, that's a 2-hour lecture. I can't really go into that. There's so many things. I have a bunch of slow digestion, honestly, is you're in sympathetic dominance. That's I literally did an entire course around that. It's my gut restoration course that has already been recorded, but is going to be released soon for other people to purchase. But top foods and supplements for an upset stomach: do the baking soda test, take some digestive enzymes, get out of sympathetic dominance back into a parasympathetic state, which is literally rest and digest and heal. And your digestion will move a lot faster, because it is literally getting a signal to digest and not to run away from a bear. You can't run from a bear and digest food. It's not going to happen. Your body has to allocate its resources to one or the other. And so if your body is allocating resources to like cortisol spikes and blood glucose spikes so that you have the energy necessary to run, and if your body is like designed to push blood to your muscles to run and not to your digestive tract to like excrete like digestive juices, you are not gonna digest. So do you need to keep doing the Flowpresso continually, or can you keep yourself in a parasympathetic mode? So hi sweetheart. So I did it twice 2 weeks ago, and I feel like I'm still in a parasympathetic state. I find myself being able to stay in it a lot more. It's almost like my body's like, no, let's not leave this wonderful sanctuary. Which is why I said this earlier, why I haven't been on social media a lot lately, and I haven't been recording podcasts, because I'm just allowing myself to be. So I always say I'm a human being, not a human doing, and right now I'm just being a human being. So I've slowed down a ton. So I feel like I'm definitely still in that state, but it's going to be different for each person. And that's why the people that trained us on Flowpresso, they highly recommend doing like at least 6 sessions. I don't know in how many, like I think in a month or so. So that's why you can buy that 6-pack at a super discounted rate and use them as needed. So yeah, there you go. Thanks you guys. Thanks for listening. I will talk to you all later.